Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
We welcome all the devotees for the inauguration of the Mayapur campus, Mayapur Institute campus. We are still waiting for some more devotees to join us, but surely they will be coming in due course of time. In the meantime, as per our schedule, what we'll do is we'll present a video presentation of Prabhupada's Prabhupada has talked on education at different points of time. And he has also said the importance of education and an necessity of a institute in this place. So what we do is we have collected his different statements, different clippings from different videos, and we have put it together just for a short presentation. It will be there about for 45 minutes. Bhakti Vishnama Swami Maharaj ki jai. So welcome to the inauguration of the campus, Guru Maharaj. Maharaj, and I would request you to speak a few words.
Principles, the thoughts will come, and you can become happy in this world. So it is nice that that Mayapur Institute is distributing Prabhupada's books to everybody. Some students of mine took Bhakti Shastri here and got second initiation, and therefore it's good that they've done that. They've done that, and Mayapur Institute is the cause of their good fortune. So we should congratulate them. And now they're inaugurating a new building. So we should congratulate them for them doing that.
Can I request Ajamila Prabhu?
There are many different ways of appreciating this absolutely wonderful event that's happening here in Sri Dhama Mayapur. ISKCON, or Srila Prabhupada's preaching mission, is actually predominantly a educational institution. Because we have the highest knowledge in the form of Krishna consciousness. So, first of all, the efforts of, in this material world where where spiritual knowledge is not very much appreciated, the efforts of Padmanaya Prabhu and all the devotees connected, we have to extend a fantastic round of applause and gratitude, for their efforts in making this whole project, bringing it to this point. From nothing on the ground to something on the ground requires, as Srila Prabhupada explains, capital, manpower, and organization. And it doesn't fall into place like fruit falling off a tree. It requires a lot of devotional service, a lot of endeavor, and a lot of devotion. So this is truly a remarkable achievement by these devotees, because there are enough souls in the world who do appreciate the knowledge of Krishna consciousness. In the Srimad-bhagavatam, it is stated by Narada Muni in the first canto to Srila Vyasadeva. He says, Etat samsuchitam brahmams tapatraya chikitsitam jadisvadhe bhagavati karma brahmani bhavitam. That the only remedial measure for removing all troubles and anxieties in this age of Kali Yuga is to dedicate one's activities to the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Jadistvare Bhagavati Tapatraya Chikitsitam. Tapatraya means the threefold miseries of material existence. Everyone is suffering from that. From the highest to the lowest, everyone is suffering to one degree or another. Tapatraya Chikitsitam. the tapachaya. And chikitsitam means the only remedial measure, the only solution for getting out of that tapachaya is karma brahmani bhavitam, dedicating one's activities to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the education that is being given here in the Mayapur Institute. That is the education that we will not find in any other institution in the world, as particularly in the universities. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada emphasized preaching to the schools and to the universities. He said repeatedly, he said, this is our most important project. This is our most important program. Preaching to the professors and preaching to the students and preaching, what is it, as we just heard from Srila Prabhupada on his lecture tape, the knowledge of Aham Brahmasmi, we are not this body. Very simple. We are not this body. And if we are not this body, what should we do about it? Engage in devotional service. So, the Krishna consciousness movement is transforming. It's undergoing transformation. And what we're seeing today is the minute transformation of the educational aspect of ISKCON here in the world headquarters, where Srila Prabhupada said that he wanted to have an education institution here in Mayapur. Hare Krishna. So, Srila Prabhupada says that the highest thing is knowledge. There's nothing higher than knowledge, but still there's one thing higher. And what is that? Knowledge is the highest thing, but still there's something higher. What is that? The application of knowledge. Gyan, and then there's vigyan. So here we have both Gyan and Vigyan. We have knowledge. This is an educational institution, the Mayapur Institute. What is that education? Tapachaya chikitsitam. Devotional service. Karma brahmani bhavitam. We learn the art of dedicating our lives, our actions to the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is what we learn. First of all, we learn it and then we apply it. So how do we apply this knowledge? By following the rules and regulations of devotional service. And then what is the result of that? Is anandam buddhivardhanam. We merge into the ocean of transcendental bliss of the Sankirtan movement. So, on this historic day, we are seeing an educational institution, the Mayapur Institute, arising as per Srila Prabhupada's instruction. And that is just the beginning. Much more will manifest in this city of Mayapur in the future, over the next 10,000 years. If we let our imagination grow, how much will Mayapur be transformed as the ISKCON World Headquarters over the next 500, 1,000, and if you really go 10,000. Over the next 10,000 years, all the holy rivers will be manifest. But after that, the Shastra state that because of the presence of the Kali Yuga, all of the holy rivers will go under the ground. They will disappear because of the immense pop of all the people on the planet. So the holy rivers have agreed to stay on the planet only because of the existence of the Sankirtan movement, which will predominate for the next 10,000 years. Otherwise, all the holy rivers would have went into non-manifested state, into the earth. So here we are at the very beginning stages of the education wave and the education that will eventually predominate throughout the world. So it's a very small beginning, and from a small beginning it will be something truly great and truly widespread all over the world, as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu predicted. Of course, we will not get to see much of that unless we wish to take birth again and continue to carry on the Sankirtan movement. Is anyone here who wishes to take birth again? Are we just going to leave it up to the next generation? We have some volunteers here. So this is the bigger picture that the Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement will spread. And this, again, we have to thank all the devotees involved. There's so many devotees involved, but particularly Padmanayana Prabhu and those who closely assisted him. So I'll stop there and make way for the next speaker. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Mayapur Institute ki jai. Sri Mayapur Dham ki jai. Nitai Go Premanande.
Jamila Prabhu. Next, can I request Deva Prabhu?
Mayapur Institute ki jai. Thank you for allowing me to speak a few words. I remember I wrote a letter to Prabhupada after reading the Bhagavad Gita as it is, after realizing I had come in touch with my best friend and my eternal Father. I wrote a letter addressed to His Divine Grace, and in it I inquired, the only question I could think of was, how do I become a pure devotee? And Prabhupada was very busy at that time. I was initiated in 77 and I joined in 76. So I remember getting a letter back from the BBT secretary in Los Angeles, Western World Headquarters, and they told me one of the words of advice in that letter was to give up material education, to not pursue basically, it wasn't exactly those words, but basically in essence they were saying that, repeating what Prabhupada says in his books, that material education is the slaughterhouse of education, and it kills the soul. It's a killer of the soul. So, not that devotees who are still pursuing material education and getting big degrees isn't useful in Krishna service, but without an institution like Mayapur Institute, which is the desire of our acharyas and Mahaprabhu, it's part of their strategic plan to inundate the whole world with love of Godhead through education. Prabhupada said, cultural weapons will help spread Krishna consciousness. So all of the cultural weapons, including education and art and food and medicine, so many things are there in the strategic plan of Mahaprabhu. The more we understand what is this four movements of the Sankirtan Leela of Lord Chaitanya, the more we will cooperate. Prabhupada said 40 years ago, which he actually wrote about in 1949 and in 1956, this strategic plan of these four movements. He said, do this immediately. And how much have we done? We have over 600 temples and less than 60 farms, which aren't necessarily so self-sufficient, and in very few really solid training centers like Mayapur Institute is becoming. If you look at the curriculum of Mayapur Institute, it doesn't just stop with Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam and Bhakti Vaibhava and all of the different scholarly lessons in the Vedas, but it includes Varnashram, it includes so many things, so much instruction. It has to, because it's the Vedas, because it's complete. So when we understand, I was just realized I was just introduced actually to these 4 movements. I didn't know about it. It's not so much talked about in our movement. There are 4 movements, everything from hearing and chanting and kirtan and congregational development and mamahata and deity worship and building temples like T.O.V.P. and so many wonderful temples. But it includes 4 waves, classless society, how to organize society so that everyone has an opportunity to take to Krishna consciousness. The more we can understand these 4 movements, the more we'll be enthusiastic to break down all the barriers between borders, between even amongst our own peers and our godbrothers and siblings and the next generation. We'll see the connection. We'll see that there's the dots that connect. All of these are equally important, centered in in our sadhana bhakti and hearing and chanting, but there's so much that Prabhupada, sometimes I think Prabhupada was like a magician, like a juggler, juggling so many things at one time. He accomplished so much in 12 years. And he was opening temples and writing letters and traveling and starting farm projects. And what did he want in his last few days was, one thing that was missing was that he didn't teach us, he thought, enough about self-sufficiency, about being educated in how to live depending fully on Krishna and the cows and the land. Mayapur is world headquarters. It's such a wonderful place. I was here in 1985. This is my second visit now, 32 years later. It's such a beautiful place. When I first met Padmanayana Prabhu, I immediately fell in love with his devotee because he's doing so much, something that's so dear to Prabhupada, him and his team, because something like this can't be accomplished on his own. During the time of Mahaprabhu, what was Navadvip? It was the center of learning. It was the center of learning, and everything Lord Chaitanya taught, grammar. I don't know all the subjects he taught. I know he taught grammar. I have to hear from my senior godbrothers who can enlighten me, but I know he taught grammar. But whatever he taught Krishna. He taught Krishna. So the Mayapur Institute does that. They teach Krishna, and people who will go through the program will come out very Krishna conscious, and they'll become the leaders and the farmers and all of the different important members of the social body for a happy, harmonious society. Congratulations to everyone who participated in the fundraising to build this beautiful building, which is just phase 1. I saw the poster, the big, nice signboard that shows a model of all of the buildings that will be there. Congratulations, this is just the first. I hope I'm alive for another 30 years to see it all developed. I don't know how long it's going to take to develop the rest, maybe just another 10 years. Padmanaya, how much longer is the master plan? Another 10 years, 5? You're not sure? Hoping for 5, right? One, yeah, 1 for each member of the Panchatattva dedicated, 1 year, 2, like 5. Only 5. 5 more to go. And then spread all over, yeah, including Hawaii. All over the world, Jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Congratulations. Haribol.
Thank you very much, Deva Prabhu. Next, I request Sikhi Mahiti Prabhu to come forward.
Hare Krishna. Sorry, I've come late, so I'm not exactly sure of, I haven't heard all the speakers, and hopefully I don't say the same thing someone else has spoken about. I wanted to bring a letter Prabhupada wrote to a member of his first society he organized. We think of ISKCON, of course, but as we know in the history of Prabhupada's preaching, he had the League of Devotees. That was Jhansi, or that was, right? His first attempt for a worldwide organization for spreading Krishna consciousness. Of course, when you read those texts, they were thinking more in terms of changing society. You know, when you say Krishna consciousness, it seems like more of an individual thing. I want to be happy, I want to experience Krishna. But they're thinking how to make the whole society a better place. So as we are aware, society, the karmis think it's pretty good, right? I always talk about, we have our iPhones, we have our iPads, we have nice automobile, especially in America, air conditioning. Now they drive themselves, the cars don't crash. Seems like such a wonderful thing. And what does it take to develop those things? An education, doesn't it? MIT, Harvard University, people are proud of those schools. If you want to get in Harvard University, either you have to donate a couple $1 million, or you have to really be not just smart, but you've got to present something in such a way that they think, yeah, you're going to succeed, and they'll allow you to be part of the Harvard family. But we can tell all those institutions and all these wonderful things, what is the result? Everybody's just suffering. 2 years ago in Philadelphia, they had a conference at University of Pennsylvania, which is one of the Ivy League schools. It's considered the lower Ivy League. You usually think of Harvard, Yale, Princeton, not University of Pennsylvania. And it was a 5-day conference on mental health of the Ivy League students. Think about that. Anybody's Ivy League student is generally coming from a very nice family, considered very good brain. They have money. Why should they have mental health issues? Suicide rate is pretty high amongst them, and they can't understand why. We have a devotee there that was preaching in that university, and we were giving I think it was one day, well, a seminar over the few days on the effects of mantra meditation on mental health. And they asked us to speak at it. And the room was packed, probably 100 students. And she, one devotee, she's a bhakta, but she's lives in the ashram, has a PhD in psychology. And she spoke about japa. She got them to chant japa. We had our book tables. But she did gave them Krishna consciousness. So these universities, they're failing, aren't they? People it appears you have everything, but yet they're suffering. And we know why. Because Krishna's not there. So all these things Prabhupada said are like zeros. You can have hundreds of zeros. It's still zero. But you just put Krishna there, now it becomes 10,000, 100 million, becomes something very valuable. So society needs a head. We're headless. We have very good sudras. You can become PhD in engineering. Prabhupada called that plow department, PhD. Better you plow the fields. Or MA, he says master ass. You get your master ass in engineering if you want. Work very hard like an ass. All these degrees. But we need to create a section of people who can lead people in the right way. Yes, you can have your MA, your PhD, be very good sudra, but then you need to be able to follow the directions of the brahmanas so that you get full satisfaction. In London, one of Prabhupada's disciples had joined and left the university, and his mother came with a priest Some of you heard that conversation? You should find that conversation in London. And the mother is challenging Prabhupada. I want my son to go back to the university. You know? He says, look at yourself. You're cultured. You have university. Why shouldn't my son have the same thing? I thought it's a very good question. Sound very logical. And Prabhupada said, we have so many lawyers, we have so many doctors, we have so many of these things already. But what the world needs now is some brahmanas. I'm trying to create some brahmanas. So you please give me your son for that. Very good argument. And the priest is sitting there, he doesn't know what to say. You know, Prabhupada is, the priest was like, yeah, he should go back and become a good Sudra. No, we need some brahmanas. They said this world is suffering because there are no brahmanas. That's why they're suffering. And so ISKCON mission, of course, is not just individualistic for saving ourselves individually, that, you know, I can be happy chanting Hare Krishna and everything is nice. It's really here for creating, this is a revolution in society. And Prabhupada's books are the basis of that revolution. And we need a systematic way of teaching that knowledge, not just on the individual level, how to save myself, but how to save society. Everything is in those books. So the scholars, they'll see that. We have many pandits, ISKCON pandits. They know how to, just as that girl spoke at UPenn. They appreciated it. They liked it so much. I couldn't do that. I'm more of the Sudra devotee. I can sell books and, you know, things like, but I'm not much of the pandit. But we have devotees like that. So this is another step in the, don't know how to phrase it, but as our society matures and grows and the mission goes on, surprisingly the karmis don't see this. They don't recognize it. They think we're just a bunch of crazy people over here. They don't realize we're slowly taking over the world. Matter of fact, the night after that court case in New York that we won about the brainwashing, there was, I think, either U.S. congressman or U.S. senator who was kind of watching our movement. And he made a point in one of the congressional sessions that if this Hare Krishna movement is not checked, it will take over the U.S. Congress. He actually felt that from reading our books. He was intelligent enough to see what's in our books and what could be done. You know, it's like how Lenin took over Russia. He didn't do it with a sword. He did it just by writing. So these words are very powerful in that way. So coming back to my point of the Prabhupada in Jhansi in 1955, his society was organized in such a way that they had different levels. He called it different levels of membership. I wish I had the letter to read it. And the first level was really based on giving financial support. And he had it very simple. He said it was ABC. The A level was 500 rupees a month. Now that's 1955. That's a lot of money. Not like now, 500 rupees. You know, even 1977, $1 would only get you 4 rupees. So, yeah, 1977 it was. And then the next level was 50 rupees a month and above, and then 10 rupees a month above. Then he had another level, because I don't know what the letter was this gentleman wrote to Prabhupada. He says, but if you're interested in being a preacher in our society, you can pay 10 rupees and you will be enrolled in our Bhakti Shastra course, which will train you in Bhagavad Gita and some other books he had. And after your training, you will be a certificate as a preacher of the League of Devotees, this worldwide mission of the League of Devotees. And you will be an official preacher. So he was using Bhakti Shastra even then. Back then, he had this idea of systematic training. So preaching on certain levels requires training, for sure. In America, of course, when we're reaching the general public, you don't really have to say much. You generally just spend your time trying to convince them they're not the body, right? You don't need Bhagavad Gita and all these verses to quote. You can just, hey, you know, you're not the body. Oh, really? No, okay. Are you the arms? Are you the eyes? Are you, you know, and basic logical, philosophical points. Now you're meeting more people who read Bhagavad Gita, and especially in India, you need to know the philosophy and be able to reference Shastra to convince people. Of course, ultimately, the real conviction will come by our own purity, which sets the example. It's not just philosophy, but a combination of both. As Prabhu was saying, there's the Jnanam, and then we have Vijnanam. That's there. So today, this is another milestone. Of course, we have Radhadesh also is there in Belgium. They're giving the certified formal training. You can get bachelor's degree in Vaishnava ministry or theology, things like that. I hear there's some talk of maybe the two of them kind of merging or something. Is it? I heard something like that going on. But this education wing of ISKCON, and anyway, as everyone has been saying, I guess it's the next generation's turn. Myself, I'm not quitting preaching, but it's winding down. I'm older. Can't do much more, really, but maybe try to encourage a few others. And Prabhupada was very special. At the age of 70, he could do all those things. I don't see myself doing like that. Maybe Ajamil, he can do it. He's pretty intelligent and nifty and good health. But, well, he looks like it at least. I think my service was distributing the book, so I did that. We all have our different services that are there. So I have to get used to this new name. The new name again is what they're calling the institute. No, it's no longer the Mayapur Institute. It's the T.O.V.S, Temple of Vedic Studies. And it will open in 5 years. You mentioned 5 years. The real 5-year significance is, who knows? T.O.V.P, right? That's 2022. And what's very significant about that day? That'll be the 50th anniversary of Radha Madhava's arriving in Sri Dhama Mayapur. The first deities in Sri Dhama Mayapur for ISKCON were Radha Madhava, not Gornitai. So it'll be nice to honor them with the T.O.V.P opening. We can have this other big complex open. We can have a whole month of celebrations. All right? Wouldn't that be nice? We're festivals. We're good at festivals. So hopefully we'll all pray for that, and hopefully some of us will be here for that. So we'll have T.O.V.P, T.O.V.S, grand opening and celebration at that time. Festivals all over Mayapur. Hopefully Ajamil's project will be finished over there too. That'll be nice. So if you come down the Ganga on our catamaran, we'll be welcome. Thank you very much for listening. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Sikhi Maiti Prabhuji. Next, can I request Keshavi Mataji to speak a few words?
To speak only because no ladies are speaking. So it's very nice to be in Mayapur studying Srila Prabhupada's book and other Vedic literature. 500 years ago, Lord Chaitanya was teaching by the bank of Ganges, and we are doing very exact same thing. So it's just like studying in Mayapur by the bank of Ganges is be the part of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastime. So it's very, very wonderful thing. We are going back to Godhead after this life, and in this life also we are part of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastime. It's so wonderful, and I thank to Paramana Prabhu and other Mayapur Institute members, teachers, and students for these wonderful opportunities. So I would like to say Mayapur Institute is offering basically three things. That is what we can know, what we do, and what we be. That is Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojana. By studying Shastra, we have to know what is in the Shastra. We memorize shlokas, we memorize Srila Prabhupada's purport, we memorize different analogies Srila Prabhupada used to explain different points of very difficult Shastric point. Then we have many exams, Bhakti Vaibhava, Bhakti Vedanta. We have every week exam. We have to write many essays. But it helps us so that we can apply the Shastra in our own life. That is to do. What we know, we have to do something. What we do, we apply to our own life the Shastra, not only know. And we apply to our own life so that we can preach to other people who doesn't know so much about Krishna consciousness. For example, when I was doing Bhakti Shastri, our teacher told why the flag of Arjuna, the Hanuman is there. Yeah? Everyone knows Arjuna has chariot. On a chariot flag, Hanuman is there. So not only we know what is there, but we will learn why the Hanuman is there. The reason is Hanuman came to help Arjuna to win the battle, so that Yudhishthira Maharaj will rule the kingdom, so the kingdom will become Krishna consciousness. But besides that, there is a deep meaning, because Hanuman was helping Ramachandra to win the kingdom and get the Sita back, so that we can also take shelter of previous acharya. Then we can take the help when we get confused, like Arjuna was confused, what to do. I don't know what to do, Kalpanya dosa, Pahataspa. But Arjuna was taking shelter of Acharya, like Hanuman was helping Arjuna. So that, in that way, when we get confused, we can follow the footsteps of Arjuna, and we can resolve different problems and fix in the Shastra and be strong in Krishna consciousness and help others. That is what we do. Then ultimately, Sambandha Abhideya Prayojana, the goal is what will be. We know the Shastra, we can apply the Shastra, and we can preach the Shastra. Ultimately, what we want to be. We want to be a pure devotee with the Lord, so that we can increase the pleasure with the Lord. That is our goal. Shastra studying is not just knowledge, but we have to apply, and ultimately we become pure devotee, so that we can increase the pleasure of the Lord. So this wonderful Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhava, then Bhakti Vedanta, and hopefully we have Bhakti Sarvabhuma. All these courses are going to help everybody. Prabhupada wanted everyone to take opportunity to study in Mayapur, especially those who are taking second initiation. Prabhupada wanted to have exam in Mayapur. Now we have Bengali course, English course, and Russian course. And now we started Japanese course online because they cannot come to Mayapur, so we are doing. I think Chinese also doing, yes, and many others. Different language in different places they are doing. So Mayapur Institute is not only here, but Mayapur is flooded all over the world. Just like that, Mayapur Institute is flooding all over the world. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you.
Thank you, Keshvi Mataji. One important point I need to tell is Keshvi Mataji is setting up Japanese Bhakti Shastri course. Keshvi Mataji ki jai. Okay, next we would like to introduce the architect, the person who developed this master plan for this entire Mayapur Institute campus. Mishra ji. and he has done it free of cost for all of us. We would like to hear a few words from him as to what inspired him really to come and do this project for us.
Hare Krishna. And I think it was a great honor to call me on such a great people's gathering. Well, I'm very small fry in the entire project. It was just a dream by Pandava Prabhuji, who inspired me to do this project. And when he came with me, he has got a lot of things in mind. Like he wants that entire context should be in a vastu based. Each and every element, door, windows, furniture, everything should be on vastu based. So that was the first challenge. Second thing, he has shown me a clipping by Prabhupada. He wanted to be in a step form. That means it should be it should grow. It should grow from the ground. It should be a part of the landscape. So the entire plan was derived on that basis. Actually, it was a very big challenge for me. To be very frank, in first glance, I have done few campuses, but such campus was a different ball game together for me. So somehow somebody inspired me. What forced me, I don't know. I started developing this project. The entire thing, the landscape, the climate, everything has to be taken care of in that way. And the first thing they wanted that is this campus has its own identity. Each building should grow. It should not be like that we are imposing something on that one. So I tried my best. In fact, I have also some misses and some misfires in the entire thing because of certain constraints we had. But we are still improving it. And in fact, what the plan you are seeing is still an improvement. We are still making a lot of changes. And final plan is still in process, and I think within another 1 month or so we'll develop the entire complex with all the services and everything. And we hope it will create a good environment for the persons who come here to study. We want to give them a freedom to know themselves by creating such an environment, such a landscape where they are free to search for their own soul. Instead of making it something like a enclosed environment, it's an open environment. We want to give that feeling that they are just flowing in the space. Let me see how it grows. It's a blessing of the God only. He can do it. We can't do that. As a human being, I don't think we can do that. But we are hoping that. And I give my sincere gratitude to Prabhupada ji, who has given this opportunity to do this project for ISKCON. Although I am doing some project for ISKCON for Guwahati and Bangalore, but this was a different challenge. It was basically there we are doing only master plan. Here we have to create something which is totally different. So I don't know how much I'll be successful, but only time will tell. At the grace of God, if Krishna wants to be succeed, then I'll be successful. Otherwise, as a human being, I can't do much that way. I thank you and I wish a great success for this institute. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mr. Dinesh Mishra. Actually, I would like to introduce a little more about this kind gentleman who just shared his experience with all of us. Normally, I don't know how many of you have been involved in developing some sort of building, or you can say a project. Normally it so happens when you go to an architect and you ask him to give some sort of plan, and if you go again to them, they become very much disturbed because you are paying them once and you are asking them to bring the changes to your plan. It becomes very disturbing for them. But you will be surprised to know, I am little bit fussy about detailing. And I keep on going to him repeatedly, not once, not only once, on single thing, even sometimes 10 times. I am telling you, Frank, this gentleman, every time I go to him, he give a very big smile in his face. Padmanayan, I'll do it. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Definitely he deserves big thanks for whatever contribution he has given to us in terms of his intelligent and helping us to build this first building, and also he is ready to help us to develop rest of the campus. So one more information I would like to share with all of you at this point of time. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, under the guidance of Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, have prepared the curriculum for Gaudiya Vaishnava studies. So right now, even though we are focusing on teaching His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada's literature, to teach Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav and other degree courses what he wanted us to teach in Mayapur Institute. But eventually, this Mayapur Institute campus is going to be fully dedicated to teach that curriculum which has been prepared for all of us by His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. So maybe all of you are willing to participate in this program. In future, we will invite all of you to come and do some further study, deep studies in Mayapur Institute. So now I can invite Vaikundapati Prabhu to come and invite our next speaker to continue with the program.
It's funny how, because you get the title of a Prabhupada disciple, immediately everyone has that certain look in their eye towards you. Oh, he's a Prabhupada disciple. Well, there's a lot of Prabhupada disciples, like myself, who are very unqualified, and that would be me. If you ever seen in magazines, sometimes you see these companies that are promoting like weight loss, and they show a very fat person and then a very thin person. And they're showing, if you follow our program, you won't be that fat person anymore, you'll be that thin person. Or you get some very out of shape, flubby looking person, fat person, and they follow this bodybuilding program. And then all of a sudden they look like Mr. Olympia or Mr. Olympic. He's just big and strong. So they follow this program, and that's what you get. Well, I was in Toronto a couple years ago, and I saw a godbrother of mine, Vaisheshika Prabhu, which probably a lot of you devotees know, is the exemplary book distributor from the 70s till now. He followed the program. So if we took before and after pictures of somebody who follows the program, you'd have Vaisheshika back in the 70s and now see him now. That's what happens when you follow the program. Well, I'm that one. If you took the picture then, I would still look the same as I do now. I didn't follow the program. So it's very important to follow the program, to study, to stay connected to Prabhupada. The reason I'm bringing this up is not all Srila Prabhupada disciples have intimate stories to tell with Srila Prabhupada. I'm one of them. I don't have any intimate stories. It's very sad when somebody will say, tell me something very intimate that happened with Srila Prabhupada and you. And I say, I don't have any. I was one of these guys who, the day I joined, I was given a book bag. And I was told to go out and distribute these books, give them to other people, and that will please the spiritual master. So that's what I did. I actually never took the time to read them. When I was in the Philadelphia airport, after only a couple weeks, I graduated to being a big book distributor, which was a very large honor back in the 70s. If you got to distribute Prabhupada's big books, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya-bhagavata, that was an honor. I was blessed with this honor. And the joke that went around was Bhakta Joe was out at the airport distributing, and he couldn't even pronounce the names of the books. I couldn't even say Srimad Bhagavatam properly. I would just point to it and say, look, wonderful book. Chaitanya-bhagavata. It took me almost 6 months to figure out what it was. I never stopped to read it. I was too busy distributing it to others. So for that reason, And that reason alone, I'm sitting up here and I'm trying to say something intelligent, even though there's not a lot of intelligence in me. But the one intelligent thing I did do was I surrendered to Srila Prabhupada and his books. I took refuge of his books by giving them to others. So what we're doing here is so wonderful because it's allowing you and everybody else and all the other different generations of devotees to connect with Srila Prabhupada like I did through his books, through what he gave us in writing. And this is very, very special. You want a connection with Jagat Guru, Srila Prabhupada. That's how you get it, through this knowledge that's being given out here at the T.O.V.S. So, to take advantage of this situation, the last temple that I was in Alachua, Florida. And I don't know if devotees here are familiar with Alachua, Florida, but it has the largest congregation of Prabhupada devotees of any temple. And there are so many pandits, so many devotees who the only conversations they have are chanting shlokas to each other and just referencing Prabhupada's books. No, Prabhu, I think on page 325 of the third canto it says this. Are you sure that's in the second paragraph? No, that's in the third paragraph. That's the kind of conversations one can hear in Alachua, Florida. Now, me being in this temple, I'm just there going, and you never see Jivanath open his mouth to contribute anything because that wasn't my thing, unfortunately. And I was asked to speak one time on Prabhupada's disappearance. So I gave some rambling story, which I can tell stories. Being a book distributor, I could talk. Spout the philosophy, give slokas, forget about it. But talk, I can do. So I was talking one time in the temple room, and right after I gave this speech, little talk about how I came to Krishna consciousness, which is quite interesting, I was told by one devotee who actually has a connection to Mayapur Institute, who is now in Alachua, Florida. He said, Prabhu, you're a wonderful speaker. You really know how to tell a story. You know how to captivate an audience. Now, like, if you just do Bhakti Shastri, you could actually be a good devotee. So he actually put my neck on the line, so to speak, and said to me, this is what you need to do. And I'm scared. Why am I scared? Because a lot of us, I don't know about you guys, but myself, I didn't like school. I went to school to play sports and see the girls. I'm being honest. I'm just being honest. I hung out with my friends, saw the girls in the classes, and I played sports. That was me. So do this assignment, study this. It's like grading nails on a chalkboard to me. I don't want to study. Leave me alone. I'm not a studier. Throw a basketball towards me, I'm fine. Spiritually, give me a book bag. I'm good. I can chat and talk. I can sell you a Bhagavatam. I can sell you a Bhagavad Gita. I can sell you a Chaitanya tree. I'll sell you a set of them. I can do my used car salesman talk. I can do that really, really well. If you take this book, I'll give you the other book as well. Don't give me that 20. Give me the 50. Not a problem. Quote from the books? Not so much. So this opportunity that all the devotees all around the world are now getting to be a part of this T.O.V.S. Come, study, learn. Don't be the dodo bird like the one who has the mic right now. Be the one who can quote and preach from Shastra, not just a rah-rah like myself. And that's all I've got to say. And thank you, Srila Prabhupada, for allowing me to sit here and get the garlands. This is one of the main reasons why I love being a Prabhupada disciple. You get garlands. One quick story which has nothing to do with anything. When I arrived here first time in October, and I hadn't been back since 1981, I was Prabhupada's disappearance. I guess that was November, yeah. And all the devotees were lined up to give speeches. And I thought, I really want one of those garlands, though, because I noticed all my other god brothers getting garlands. I said, can I have a garland? They said, oh, you're a Prabhupada disciple? I said, yes, I am. He said, oh, you can have a garland, but you have to say something. I really wanted that garland, so I said something. And I don't care how embarrassed everybody got by listening to me, how many people cringed when they, who's he? Didn't matter. I got the garland. So as a Prabhupada disciple, if you see me walking around without a garland, just give me one. I'm a garland hog. I love them. Give me the garland. More than happy to take it. I'll always pass it along. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Jivanath Prabhu, for making it a bit more interesting. Really nice. And next, can I request Sankarshan Prabhu to come and speak a few words. Sankarshan Prabhu is a grand nephew of Srila Prabhupada, and he joined the movement in 1971. So he has been in the movement for a long time, associated with Prabhupada also for some time, for quite a number of years. So here it is. And after Sankarshan Prabhu, Sadhanya Prabhu.
A great privilege for me to attend this historical opening ceremony of this Mayapur Institute. ISKCON is currently involved in operating a number of schools in India by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. So we are seeing the Mayapur Institute flourishing day by day, and students from all over the world, they are coming and participating in this school. On this site lay the original town. 1,000 years ago, the renowned scholar, author, and king Ballal Sen established the capital of a great dynasty at Mayapur. On this site lay the original town of Navadvip, a great center of learning whose reputation rivaled that of all over the world. Navadvip attracted countless pundits, professors, scholars, researchers of the Vaishnava school of Vedanta, who studied Sanskrit along with Vedic literature and the Vedic arts and sciences. In the late 15th century, a student named Jagannath Mishra arrived from Bangladesh, to study under the renowned scholar Nilambar Chakravarti. He married Nilambar's daughter, Sochi, and they set up a home on the banks of the Ganges at Sri Dhama Mayapur. At an auspicious time, Nilambar predicted a very special child would take birth in their home. In 1486, Sri Chaitanya was born in Mayapur, known as Nimai. In his childhood, he displayed many miraculous pastimes. In his youth, he became famous throughout Mayapur as well as all over India as a scholar and a teacher of logic. Srila Prabhupada wrote a letter on 30th 7 1972 to Sumati Murarji. Srila Prabhupada wrote, so far the school of Sumati Murarji make the children into Vaishnavas through English medium of learning. We are not going to abide by the government schedule. They should be taught our books as soon as they can read and write. Then they will be Vaishnava. So Prabhupada wrote this letter in 1972. So it clearly mentioned that if one can become perfectly successful in the mission of his life, if he acts exactly according to the words he hears from the mouth of spiritual master. So all Prabhupada disciples, they are carrying out the instruction of Srila Prabhupada, and now day by day we are seeing how the flourishing of Mayapur project, not only school, there are so many projects is going on all over Mayapur. It is by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and Prabhupada's disciples and grand disciples also. They are trying to fulfill the desire of Srila Prabhupada. So this is the proof of Mayapur Institute, and Padmanabhan Prabhu is a tireless service he has given, and by his causeless effort. So we are going to see the Mayapur Institute, and we are also planning that there will be Mayapur College, Mayapur Institute, Mayapur School now, Bhaktivedanta National School. We have seen the school is very nicely going on because it is based on the Vedic principle. Though their curriculum is some board, but they are focusing how to the student can develop their spiritual realization. So I think it is a great hope for us that all the devotees, all the disciples of Prabhupada, they are trying their best to carry out the instruction of Srila Prabhupada. So when I joined in 1970, I have seen that how Prabhupada trained up all his foreign disciples. They came and they helped Srila Prabhupada to develop Mayapur, and now we are seeing the result. How in the beginning, how many Indians were there? Few, only few Bengalis are there. So all the endeavor there, now we are getting the result. So Bhaktivedanta National School is a very, so many students, they are coming and they are getting their education. And Prabhupada says that on the Vedic principle. So I think the schools, not only Mayapur, and also I went to Chopati, I went to Bombay. They are all schools. They have a class for Bhagavad Gita. So it is a wonderful thing. Now the ISKCON devotees, particularly disciples and grand disciples of Srila Prabhupada. So thank you very much for the Mayapur management and Padmanabhan Prabhu. They are trying their best to develop this project. And thank you very much the engineer who did his job very nicely, free of remuneration. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Sankarshan Prabhu. We have in our midst Bhakti Purushottam Swami Maharaj. He has got a few other engagements also. So he wouldn't be able to stay with us for long. So I would request Maharaj to speak a few words.
कृष्ण पादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनेति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारिणे. So today I will say this is a very historical day that we are going to open this, inaugurate this building which will facilitate for devotees to come to Mayapur and get education, higher education. So it is historical day because this building is going to serve the purpose that what Mayapur Navadvip is meant for. What Navadvip was renowned one day, 500 years ago. Navadvip was very renowned, not as a tourist place, industrial city or capital like that. It was renowned, famous for learning. People from all over the different places were coming to Navadvip Dham for learning. In Bhagavatam, it has been stated that Mahaprabhu had a school, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, where people were coming from Videsh. Videsh means foreign countries. But I don't know exactly what foreign countries meant by that. Foreign countries means people are coming from Bangladesh, Bihar, Orissa, or really coming from America, Europe, Australia, I don't know. But the word used from foreign countries. But I will say that has been justified today. The real foreign countries people are coming from America, Europe, Russia, Africa. What Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Bhagavata has stated. So that has been materialized by this MI. So this MI endeavor, what you see here, has not just manifested like that. I must thank His Grace Janmashtami Prabhu from America, who first gave birth to this endeavor. That time it was known as MIHE, Mayapur Institute for Higher Education. So we started this following the footstep of Vrindavan, that VIHE, Vrindavan Institute for Higher Education. So for some time MIHE was continuing, and I have seen what a great struggle Janmashtami Prabhu had to go through. All kinds of infrastructure problems, really austerity. But so much dedication he had. For years he managed. At one point, MIHE took a new incarnation known as MIHET, MIHET, Mayapur Institute for Higher Education and Training. Then I don't know why that happened. Then again they changed it. I think when Janmashtami Prabhu was here, he changed it, Mayapur Institute. Now it has ended with Mayapur Institute. I hope this name will continue or they will change, I don't know in future. So after many, many years, with a lot of struggle, because Janmashtami Prabhu came from an education background, she was very much determined to establish this. Then at one point, Padmanarayan Prabhu joined MIHE, helping Janmashtami Prabhu. Then when Janmashtami Prabhu left Mayapur, he handed over this MIHE to Padmanarayan Prabhu. Whether to any money, any infrastructure, the same situation as he was continuing, the struggle to do something nice here. That is the situation I have been observing for the last many, many years. What a difficult time they have to go through to do something great. That what Navadvip is meant for, and what ISKCON is meant for, and what Prabhupada wanted Mayapur should be. Mayapur should be a place where people will come from all over the world for learning. And here we see Padmanarayan Prabhu also continued his endeavor with a lot of struggle. But he has real determination. You have to praise him. He is so determined. Without much help, single-handedly, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, one nice devotee joined him, Prem Gaur Sundar Prabhu. Very senior elderly person. He's from engineering background. And I'm surprised how so helplessly they collected so much fund for building this. And such a nice master plan they have. Fortunately, one nice architecture from Delhi also came forward to give nice design. That time then GBCom gave permission. They gave 6-acre land here devoted for this purpose, understanding Mayapur is mainly meant for education. As Srila Prabhupada has stated, the ISKCON is not a mott, this is not an ashram, this is not a temple, this is an educational institution. So that's why we see why Mayapur is flourishing now, today. Why so many people are moving to Mayapur. Okay, we have housing project, that those are facilitating grihasthas. But mainly they are moving to Mayapur because of educational institutions. We have international school, we have national school, we have one Bengali school, we have Gurukul, we have MI. So these are the main things to attract devotees from all over the world to move to Mayapur. So that's why I was telling, so this is a very historical event, that MI which started, or that anything, Janmashtami Prabhu used his own residence room. He has 2 flats, he was using that, and from that we are here where we are today with this building. But this building again is a starting point. You must have seen in different places their banners. The whole project, and this will be used at present for education, for classroom, but due course of the residential purpose, then classrooms will be built up. So, and we can see how, if behind some project there's real dedication, and how things happens very nicely. So by the dedication, and as Sankarshan Prabhu was telling, tirelessly, the working, these 2 individuals, Padmanan Prabhu and Prema Gaur Sundar Prabhu. So the nice building has manifested. So on this auspicious day, I pray Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, Sudarshan, Chakra, for their blessings, invoking their blessings, so that this humble endeavor will manifest more nicely, and many devotees will come facilitated to stay here and get education. And near future, many more buildings will come up to facilitate also. So we all pray for that. All glories to the endeavor of Padmanan Prabhu and Prem Gaur Sundar Prabhu. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki.
I'll be very brief. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Bhastaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pachani Visesha Sunyavari Paschacha Deshatani Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj called this a historical event. I also want to say it's an historical event, but I was thinking of course he touched on that also, a little different perspective. It's like in Mayapur, for so many years, Prabhupada gave a plan, a vision, a roadmap, and it was not always easy to follow it exactly. Prabhupada wanted us to make our own cloth. We had handlooms. I wrote a handloom trust. Of course, they put, if there was a trust land for handloom, they put something else on it. But, so this is also a benchmark, a landmark time, because like the T.O.V., the first building, the Lotus building, that's a benchmark, a landmark. We had nothing. We had no running water and no electricity. So you can just imagine, many of you would not be sitting here today under those circumstances. But that Lotus building came up, that was amazing. It was like a palace. Only in later years we realized it had no attached bathrooms. It wasn't so comfortable. And no guests subsequently wanted to stay there. Now it's an administration building. But this is one of those landmark, benchmark, fulfillment of Prabhupada's vision. Another niche in that roadmap, because education, if you are, I hear at least 1 or 2 lectures every day of Prabhupada's, either conversations or class. Hardly a day can go by where Prabhupada does not mention the subject matter of imparting real education to people, which begins with Aham Brahmasmi, I'm not this body. Otherwise, Prabhupada labels it ignorance. So this day, this building, and I won't repeat what Maharaj said, but it's true that Padmanayan, they had nothing. It's like Prabhupada went to America with 40 rupees and a few Bhagavatams in a what do you call it? Yeah. Trunk, yeah. Remember Ajamil, when we were all in Mayapur with nothing? Everybody had to have a trunk, right? A steel trunk. It was a matter of prestige, I think. Who had a shinier steel trunk? But this is an amazing thing that he's done. From nothing, he's produced a palatial building meant exclusively for education. And that was Prabhupada's driving vision and subject matter, even throughout all his lectures and all his travels, to impart genuine education to the public at large throughout the entire global world population. So this is really, it's even more than historical. It's a fulfillment of Prabhupada's vision and the entire Gaudiya Vaishnava Parampara. In fact, ISKCON is pretty amazing because it knocks out these fulfillments of the visions of the Parampara one after another, you know? The setup of a temple in Mayapur with the Lotus building, the T.O.V.P., the arrival of devotees to come to Mayapur from every country of the world, and now this center point of education where people can come and not get fooled and confused and bewildered and cheated, but actually get real, genuine education based on the knowledge of the spirit soul and Prabhupada's books. So I would just like to personally thank Padmanayam and his whole team for, I know how difficult it is to make something from nothing. And when we came to Mayapur, there was just paddy fields. In fact, Jayapataka Maharaj and I, with the straw hats and bullocks, we were plowing the fields. There was only a handful of us. At one point, there was 10 of us. One had to leave, the treasurer, the Italian, I forget his name. And there was 9 of us. So it's a great struggle, but surely he will be rewarded, and this education in Mayapur will flourish and fulfill Srila Prabhupada's vision, and that's what it really means to perform devotional service, to please the spiritual master. Your own spiritual master, the grand spiritual master, and this is Prabhupada's real vision. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Krishna Padaya, Krishna Pristaya, Go, Kale, Srimate Bhakti Vedanta, Sanginite Namine.
Krishna Krishnaya.
Namaste. Saraswati Devi, Auradhani Pracharini, Nidhi-desa, Sunyavadi, Vasatya Dasatari.
Namaste paschatya
Mahakarati Vajala Pangulangaya Degen Yadkitasalanande Sigonidinam Parma Anandamalam Sri Chaitanya-bhagavata Hariom Tatsa Prabhupada. He started the Bhakti Shastra in his presence.
Srila Prabhupada started the Bhakti Shastri in his presence.
He wanted this systematic study of his books to begin.
He wanted the systematic study of his books to begin.
So one day at the Gaur Purnima Festival, he announced he was having the Bhakti Shastri exam until পড়াশোনা হয়।
এখন এটা আরো নিয়মিতভাবে পড়াশোনা হয়।
We have the Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav, not only in English, but in other languages also.
So now we have the Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav, not only in English, but in many other languages.
Mayapur Institute needed to have its own facility.
So the Mayapur Institute needed to have its own facility.
And we're happy that we could inaugurate and offer this facility to Sri Dhama.
We're happy that we could inaugurate and offer this facility to Srila Prabhupada.
There's only one step in the MI's total plan.
This is only one step in the MI's total plan.
This is residential as well as some classrooms.
This is residential as well as has some classrooms.
Bhakti Shastri Kutir, which is the next phase.
There's also some Bhakti Shastri Kutir in the next phase.
And then this building, the duplicate, where the ladies can stay.
And like this building, there will be a duplicate where the ladies can stay.
So, MI is enthusiastically giving the knowledge of Srila Prabhupada's books.
So MI is enthusiastically giving the knowledge of Srila Prabhupada's books.
I'm very honored to be here
We're very honored to be here
on this auspicious occasion.
on this auspicious occasion.
Recently, the GDC has been also considering how reading Srila Prabhupada's books is so important.
Recently, the GBC was also considering how the reading of Srila Prabhupada's books was so important.
Books were a great yagya for Prabhupada.
The books were a great yagya for Prabhupada.
He stayed up at night translating the books.
He stayed up at night translating the books
and writing his purports. So we are grateful to the MI and those who have supported it.
So we're grateful to the MI and to those who have supported it.
And we hope that they will be able to extend their education.
And we hope that they will be able to expand their education.
And thus fulfill Prabhupada's desires.
And thus fulfill Prabhupada's desires.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
I'm told that the MI is establishing new courses and inauguration now.
So I'm told that the MI is establishing new courses during the inauguration now.
In the Chinese and Japanese language.
In the Chinese and Japanese language.
Maybe all of you know Jalangi Mataji, who is a resident devotee of Mayapur from China. She is going to lead this Chinese faculty Sastrik department in Mayapur Institute. And Kesavi Mataji, who has been long time resident of Mayapur, also serving wholeheartedly in deity department. She has come up with the idea to lead Japanese Bhakti Sastri program in Mayapur Institute. All glories to the devotees who have come forward to support in this endeavor to fulfill the desire of Srila Prabhupada. In future, we expect many other devotees to come to fulfill Prabhupada's desire. As he said, students from all parts of the world will go there to take education in this important subject. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. So this is how, with the speech of His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, we concluded this.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama,